What is going on, everybody here, Maxsquad? Welcome back to a brand new video. Today we're going to be doing the full review of the Moto G Power. Stay tuned.
What the?
So with the Moto G Power, you're probably wondering, what kind of name is Power? Why would they name it Power in the first place? And it's pretty self-explanatory. This phone has a 5,000 milliamp hour battery inside. But unfortunately, when it comes to buying this phone here, which is at 250 bucks, me myself, I got it at Best Buy. Out of the box, you don't get a super quick charger, but 10 watts is still pretty good. It's just a lot of people complain about that. And if you're one of those people, you're probably going to want to stay away from this one unless you had a quicker AC adapter laying around. So as I said earlier, the Moto G Power is 250 bucks. And that's currently the retail value of this device here. Now you get 4 gigs of RAM, 64 gigs of internal storage. Now the display on the Moto G Power is a little bit bigger than last year, but this year is rated at Full HD. And you also have that camera cutout that's on the left side of the device, which houses the 16 megapixel camera. Speaking of cameras, the Moto G Power has a triple camera setup on the back. You get your standard lens, which is 16 megapixels, and it's also wide angle. You also get an 8 megapixel ultra wide camera, and then you get a 2 megapixel macro lens. So when it comes to taking pictures on this device, you're not going to be upset at all. It can definitely get the job done when it comes to basic picture taking needs. The device is capable of shooting 4K video at 30 frames per second, along with 1080p at 60 frames per second. There's no OIS with these cameras, there's only EIS. And I found out recently that you can plug an internal mic or external mic inside the Moto G Power and it would pick up the audio from the mic. Something that I had issues with in the past with older Motorola phones, but this one here, we don't have that problem. Now out of the box, the device is going to be running Android 10 with security patch of February 2nd, 2020. So pretty much you get your usual features when it comes to Motorola. You get your chop action, of course, where you can just chop the phone and activate the flashlight. And you also get your twist action, where you just twist the phone to the front or to the back twice really quickly, and you activate your camera, which is actually really, really cool. I don't really notice too much with the skin here on the Moto G Power, but just know that it operates extremely well. Applications being held in the background with the RAM is no problem at all. This overall a pretty good experience as far as software. Will this device be getting upgraded to Android 11? Like I said in my first impressions video, we'll hope. With the Moto G Power here, you also get USB Type-C for charging, of course, right? You get your speaker on the bottom and the speaker on the top. So as far as audio, which is an upgrade from last year, the device does have dual speakers. So pretty much stereo sound, and that's definitely a positive thing if you ask me. You got this big immersive display along with these dual firing speakers. You're pretty much gonna be happy with the Moto G Power, on top of the fact that it has a 5,000 milliamp hour battery. So with the Moto G Power here, as far as battery life goes, take it off the charge at 100%. You can expect the device is going to be lasting at least a day, day and a half. But you got to keep in mind that everybody has different usage. So even though it's a pretty big battery inside this device, it pushing higher pixels on a full HD display as opposed to a 720p display last year, is the battery is going to eat up a little bit more than last year, period. In some instances here with the Moto G Power, I actually got a little bit better battery life than I got on my G7 from last year. For example, I had about 44% left on the charge here, and I think I had about 5 hours and 7 minutes of screen on time, which was pretty good. Here's another one where I had about 48%. So 48% battery on the Moto G Power here, and I had about 5 hours and 18 minutes of screen on time. So an improvement. I actually ended up getting a little bit more screen on time with a little bit less battery consumed. And here's another example here. I had 45% of battery life on the Moto G Power, 5 hours, 31 minutes of screen on time on 45%. So if battery life is something that you're really, really, really concerned about, Moto G Power is for you. So there's no NFC in this device. There's no IP rating, none of that good stuff. This is a budget phone at the price of 250 bucks. So none of that stuff, if you ask me, can really be expected. But you do get a fingerprint scanner in the back. There's no Face ID, no in-screen fingerprint scanner, none of that stuff. And I got a question in the comments of one of my older videos. Someone asked me, does the Moto G Power, does it actually send texts and does it make phone calls? I can confirm, it does. It does. But one of the major problems that I had with the Moto G Power is the fact that when I go on speakerphone, the person that I'm talking to, they would have a hard time with hearing me. So I'm not sure exactly what that is. Let's say I'm on a phone call, right? And I'm talking, the person hears me clearly. I hear them through the earpiece, no problem. But as soon as I go on speaker, they can't hear me at all. It's like everything got. I'm not sure exactly what the issue is with that, but that is a problem that I have been experiencing on the Moto G Power. So be on the lookout for that if you actually get this device. My device in particular here, I'm using it on Verizon, and it has had no issues at all as far as connectivity. Data speeds are consistent, sending texts, making phone calls. I have no issues using Verizon Wireless on the Moto G Power. Another thing I forgot to mention with the Moto G Power is that it has a headphone jack. So I'm pretty sure that's a positive in a lot of people's eyes. Now, as far as the display in the Moto G Power, another thing I have been hearing is that the screen actually bleeds a little on the outside. Now, I'm not completely shocked that this is actually the case here. I mean, when you look at the design of a display that has a hole punch in it, it's hard to get it's very hard, unless it's an AMOLED display, to actually, get it perfect. So there's gonna be a little bit of damage there. There's gonna be a little bit of bleed to the screen. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying it makes it okay, but what I am saying is that it's not gonna be a perfect display. But nonetheless, it's really good. I like the quality of it, and most of the time I don't use all white backgrounds or all black backgrounds where I'm actually trying to, notice it more. I'm actually trying to enjoy the display for what it does offer, and it's good quality if you ask me. Another thing I want to mention is that if you bought the Moto G7 Power from last year or the Moto G7 from last year, and it came with a turbocharging brick, the device does support turbocharging. It's just out of the box, it doesn't come with a turbocharging brick. Again, like I said earlier, it's a negative thing, but it's not one of those things where it's a deal breaker. I mean, the phone still charges pretty fast. And on top of that, it's a 5,000 milliamp hour battery. So how fast are you really looking to charge? Micro SD card support. So if you need to put a little bit more storage inside of the device, you have that option with SD cards. Another positive thing is that the device does have a rigid power button. So as far as watching Netflix, YouTube, Twitch, all those streaming apps, does the device perform well when it comes to that? For sure. Yes, you can have a few minor cosmetic issues with the display. It's not going to be perfect, but when it comes to watching YouTube videos, you're not going to have a problem with it. When you having dual speakers, everything is a little bit easier to look over because, you're going to be looking at the whole screen as opposed to that little corner. But the only time you're really looking at that corner is when you should be looking at that corner, and that's taking a selfie photo. So run down the specs of the Moto G Power once again. 4 gigs of RAM, 64 gigs of internal storage, USB Type-C for charging, dual speakers, Full HD display, triple camera setup on the rear, Snapdragon 665, 5,000 milliamp hour battery, 250 bucks. What? So Maxsquad, let me know in the comment section below, do you think the Moto G Power is absolutely worth the 250 bucks that it started at, or are you going to wait for it to go on sale? And also like this video so that other people like yourself can get a little assistance when it comes to doing research on budget phones like the Moto G Power. It'll be really helpful. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed already so that you don't miss any future content when it comes to the Moto G Power or any other future devices that I bring to the channel. And share the video with your friends and family and let them know that not all Android cameras suck. It is just not true. But until then, my name is Maxsquad. Thank you for watching this video. Have a good day, y'all. Deuces.